welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am a Jen who reads, and this is my 2023 end of year book tag. As far as book tags go, this one's pretty long, so I have my notebook that I'm going to be referencing from time to time. So let's get started. The first one is your most disappointing read of the year, and by far, landslide answer is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I was so excited. I have been hearing nothing but amazing things about this book, and sorry, my dogs are being loud. Hold on one second. They have to get out their squeakiest toy every single time I record and hit my camera. Go away. So anyways, Babel by R.F. Kuang. I did do a video about it, and I'm going to talk more about it in my end of the year wrap up. But yeah, big disappointment. Definitely wasn't for me. Underdog read of the year has to go to American Royals. This wasn't a spectacular book, but going into it, I just thought it was an interesting concept. I was like, all right, let's see what it's about. And I'm waiting on the fourth one to come from the library right now. I have flown through the first three, and I just really enjoy it. I love the characters. I love the plot. It's definitely not boring. There's one exciting thing happening after another, and that's just not something that I was expecting. Overly hyped book of the year. For me, that was Legendborn. I've seen this all over BookTube and BookTok, and so just social media in general. And why I didn't dislike the book, I thought it was a good book. I didn't like it enough to go on to the second one, and I ended up giving the book away. My favorite book couple is from a book that I just read this month, and that's Wallace and Hugo from Under the Whispering Door. My favorite main character is going to have to be Vin from Mistborn. It was a toss-up between her and Rain from Serpent and the Wings of Night, but I think I'm going to go ahead and give it to Vin from Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. A book that surprised me, that is Psalm for the Wild Built. I loved this book. It just makes my heart feel warm and fuzzy every time I think about it and every time I talk about it. And I wasn't expecting it. It was just like a short book that was on my Kindle that I had heard some stuff about. The second one was good, but it wasn't amazing. The first one, though, without a doubt, biggest surprise. My favorite new author is Gabrielle Zevin. I read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I absolutely loved it. And then I went and picked up A Storied Life of A.J. Fickery for me to read next year. And I'm really excited. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Happiest read. So I don't know if that meant a book that made me happy while I was reading it, or a book that was a happy book. I don't even think I really read a happy book this year. But a book that was happy to me. It made me feel happy to read. And that was Assistant to the Villain. I like to say that this is a mashup between Shrek and The Office, and I love this book. I went right through it, and I was happy the whole time that I was reading it. Most frustrating book is also one of my least favorite books of the year, Gilded Wolves. And the reason why it was so frustrating was because I was so confused for most of the book. I couldn't picture what was happening. I couldn't picture what was going on or where they were at. I was just really confused most of the book. The other thing that was frustrating is that there's a character on there who, every single time this character comes up, or it's her point of view, or she's talked about, it is overly talked about, the traits she has that are quirky traits. And I think that the author was trying to allude to the fact that this character may be on the spectrum without coming out and saying it. But I felt like that was the only quality that author thought that character had. So that was frustrating. So that was frustrating on two ends. So most frustrating book, The Gilded Wolves. Best adaptation. So I'm not really sure what they mean by this, but I went and picked Where the Crawdads Sing because I thought that the movie did the book justice. I thought that it was a really good adaptation to the book, and I really loved both of those. All right, longest book. So I have two because one was on the Kindle and one was physical, and I know that sometimes when it's on the Kindle, the pages are longer. So my longest physical book I read was The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, and that was 784 pages. And then my longest ebook that I read on my Kindle was Court, which is in the Crave series, and it was 941 pages. And then I did the same thing for shortest book read. So my shortest physical book that I read was Psalm for the Wild Built. That was 124 pages. And then, oh, no, that's wrong. That's my ebook. So on the Kindle, it was 124 pages. And then my shortest physical book that I read was Frindle, which is a kid's book that I read to my class. And it is 112 pages. Favorite cover. Okay, so by far, my favorite covers of the whole year are Carissa Broadbent books. And so specifically, Serpents and the Wings of Night. I have read all of the Carissa Broadbent books so far on my Kindle. And then I went and bought them in physical copy just to have them for my shelves. And the only other series that I've done that with is the Crave series. So by far, Serpents and the Wings of Night. A book I can't stop thinking about, and I think that the reason I can't stop thinking about this is, one, I read it not too long ago, and it was really good. But two, the sequel comes out really soon, actually tomorrow, because I'm filming this on Christmas morning before my kids get here to open presents. So that's Divine Rivals. I also just gifted this book to a dear friend of mine. So yeah, it's been on my mind. I've been watching some videos about it and some recaps to sort of refresh my mind, because I do have some Barnes & Noble gift cards and I'm going to be using them, and that's one of the books that I'm going to get. All right, an unpopular book that you loved. I don't have one for this. All of the books that I loved this year, I don't feel like they were unpopular. So yeah, I don't have one for that. All right, my highest and lowest ranked books on Goodreads, and do you agree? All right, so the highest book that I read this year, the highest ranked book is Fourth Wing, big shocker. And it has an average rating of 4.62, which is really high for Goodreads. Yeah, I agree with it. I went into this book knowing that there was a bunch of hype. I actually bought the book before it was popular just because of, you know, the dragons on the spine or on the edges. And I didn't read it right away. And then by the time I got around to reading it, I had started to see some of the hype. And so I really tried to separate what I had heard from what I was reading and what I was feeling, because I wanted my thoughts on the book to be genuine and not influenced. And so, and I still love the book, and I think that I did a pretty good job of listening to myself and what I thought of the book, and I loved it. So yes, I do agree with that one. My lowest ranked book. So I read an advanced reader copy of The Forest Demands Its Due. I did not like it at all. It took me forever to read it. It wasn't even that long of a book. I really disliked this book a lot. Its average rating is 3.57. Not horrible. But yeah, I definitely agree that that's my lowest rated book or ranked book. Favorite quote from a book. All right, so this came from a book that I just finished this week, and it is The 7-Year Slip, and this is what it says. Nothing lasts forever. Not the good things, not the bad. So just find what makes you happy and do it for as long as you can. So that's my favorite quote from this year. A book that you read with the unique concept. I started the Wayward Children series this year by Seanan McGuire. I've read 4 of the books so far. And I love the concept of that. Kids who find doorways to other worlds, like think Alice in Wonderland, Narnia, those types of worlds. And it's a world where they fit in better than they do here in reality on Earth. And for whatever reason, they are brought back to Earth, to their families. And now they have to deal with it. And there's a school specifically for these types of children to help them deal with it. And they're always looking for these doors to go back. And some of them do, and some of them don't. And I just thought that that was a really unique concept. And I love the books. A book that you plan to reread. So I don't plan to reread any of these books, but if I were to reread one, it would be Assistant to the Villain. One, because I just loved it so much. Two, because the sequel doesn't come out until September of 2024, so I may need a recap. So yeah, if I do reread one of these books, it's going to be Assistant to the Villain. So after reading reflection, I think that this year was a really good reading year. I will do this in my 2023 reading recap video that I do, but I read the most books this year than I have ever read. And there has been quite a few that I did not like. But I think I did a really good job at not continuing series that I don't like, and reading what appeals to me and not just what's popular. So I hope to carry that forward into the new year. And that's it. That's the end of year book tag. So I will see you in 2024. Happy New Year. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.